Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, so today we're doing a highly requested video, and that is finally how to improve your battery life and speed up your Samsung Galaxy S10. Now this you can do for the Galaxy S10, S10e, and S10 Plus. Doesn't matter, they all work the same. So use these tools to get much better battery life, and we will show our results in our battery life tests coming up this week. So make sure to subscribe to see that. I'm betting for over 8 hours of battery life after we do these fine-tune adjustments. So let's get to it. All right, so basically the first thing you're gonna wanna do is do a black wallpaper. Mostly black wallpapers help you out on battery life simply because of this. All of these pixels that are black are not being turned on. So that's a huge amount of battery life that you can help to improve your smartphone overall, and one that I definitely recommend doing. So with this, that's your first step. It definitely will save you battery life if you just have a mostly black wallpaper. And with these new ones, they're really great for the cutouts. I'll leave a link in the description down below for all those kind of wallpapers. All right, let's get to the settings and let's get adjusting. First off, we're gonna want to go to connections and change two things here. First, under Wi-Fi, you're gonna want to go to advanced. And this is a really important one just because you want to turn on Wi-Fi automatically. Now this will basically turn on Wi-Fi automatically when you have reached a Wi-Fi that you normally connect to. So the great thing about this is it's not going to try to turn on to random ones like, you know, Starbucks, McDonald's, Hilton's, all that kind of stuff. It's going to turn on to the ones you normally connect to. This is really important because Wi-Fi does use less battery than LTE, so it's just a much better way to go about your day. Then we're going to want to go to data usage, and on here you're going to go to data saver and turn it on. Now this is a really good way to have your data very limited so that a bunch of apps aren't using it in the background. The whole problem with apps running in the background is, of course, that if they're using your data, they're using your battery, and if you don't need them to or don't want them to, this helps out. You can also allow specific apps to always use whatever data they want. So if you have a job or email account or something like that where you need to run in the background, then you can turn that on. All right, so from here, we're going to want to go to display. And under display, there's two things I want to know. Actually, let's throw in a third. So first of all, you do want to obviously have night mode on. Night mode is going to save you a lot of battery life just because, again, all of your settings, your phone, text messages, all that stuff is now black. All of your system UI basically is now black, which again, will save you in battery life. Second thing is for brightness, turn it to about 70 or 80% and turn off adaptive brightness. The problem with adaptive brightness is that it basically always uses this sensor hidden behind the battery symbol, and basically it is always on. This is definitely something you do not want to do, so make sure that I would always just change it to about 70 or 80, whatever your preference is, and that will save you battery in the long run. All right, then there's also the navigation bar. Now I know in our must things to do to set up the phone, we talked about going to full screen gestures to get more screen real estate, but at that same token, if you change it to navigation buttons on always, this is about 10% of your screen and it's always black. So that being said, if it's always black, it will always save you battery life because again, that is all these pixels are not being turned on, whereas if you make it full screen, it's bigger, but it does drain your battery a little bit more, so you choose which one you want there. And then finally, we went over this again in the other video, but you want to make sure accidental presses are turned on. This makes it so your phone won't be going off in your pocket or in your purse, and it's a much better experience for your battery life that way. All right, then we're gonna go back here and go to Biometric and Security. Biometric and Security, you're gonna scroll down to the bottom and go to Location. And then from here, you're gonna go to Improve Accuracy and turn off Bluetooth scanning. This makes it so your Bluetooth is always on just for location purposes when you don't want it to be. So obviously just turn that off and it's still very accurate in determining your location, so don't have to worry about that. Okay, then we're gonna go to advanced features. Now under advanced features, there are a bunch of sensors that you wanna make sure to turn off in motion and gestures. Kind of go through each one and see if you need it, but if not, you want to turn them all off that you don't. These are the ones that I currently have on, that I do like enough to keep on. So again, just choose your mileage may vary. From here though, you're gonna also want to take a look at Bixby routines. Now we're gonna go in depth for Bixby routines in a separate video, but you can create with my routines a unique kind of setup. So for myself, I have it, which I have off for my battery test coming up, but I have it so when my battery level hits 35%, my Wi-Fi turns off, my brightness goes to 53, my resolution goes to HD+, screen timeout's only at 1 minute. Always on display, I keep on, but I do it so that it's tap to show instead of always show, which I normally have on. So again, you can kind of create your own setup to run when things happen. So it's a really cool way. And again, we'll go into much more in-depth video on how I use it and how I recommend using it in a separate video. All right, so from here, we're gonna want to go to the biggest thing, which is device care. Under device care, there are a bunch of things you want to adjust, so let's get started. First thing at the top right, there's two things up here, and that is auto restart. This restarts your phone once a week when you're not using it. So this is great to keep your battery speed and battery to be optimal, and definitely want to always have that on. It's great for your phone to restart once a week, and let's face it, you're not gonna restart it, so this helps out. Then you're gonna hit these three dots and go to auto optimize. This clears your cache once a day, and it just basically optimizes your phone. It's a great way to always keep your phone at top speed, and again, do it at a time when you don't use it. All right, then we're gonna want to go to, in device care, battery, and you hit these three dots up here, and you go through the biggest one. So first of all, adaptive battery is great, always have that on. Putting apps to sleep that are unused, I would change it to 2 days by default. When it comes out of your phone, out of the box, it will be 3 days. So I recommend switching it to 2. Again, if you don't use the app, you don't need it to run in the background. And then finally, you can put your own apps to sleep. And you can see by everything I have here, I have over 130 apps that I know that I do not need to run in the background, so I put them to sleep. So this is really great, and it's a great way to go about it. So if you have apps that you know you do not need to run in the background, check through them and make sure to see if they do. Like Bixby Home, I don't need you to run in the background at all. So that is one that, again, I add to sleeping apps. This will just make it so they will not run in the background, period, and it's a great way to get it. All right, then from here, I recommend turning on optimized settings. This really does go with something else that we're about to get to, and it basically just adjusts things when you're not using your phone. So again, this is just a great way to kind of like, okay, let's adjust everything to see how everything should change at midnight when you're not using it. And again, those two are indicative of each other, at midnight and also if you're not using it. So really great way to, again, just save you battery life. Okay, so the next part is an oldie but goodie, but we always want to go over, and that is turning on developer options. How do you do that? Well, you go to About Phone, then go to Software Information, and then hit Build Number repeatedly. Once you do that about 7 times, if you have a password, it'll ask you to input that. If not, it'll just say you're now a developer. So you go to Developer Options, you scroll all the way down to the Drawing category, and in the drawing category, you can change everything to 0.5x. This basically makes it so that automatically your phone will basically move faster. All the animations are sped up, and reality is perception, and that makes it a lot quicker to just move everything around. So it's a really great way to go about it, and definitely something I recommend doing. All right. Then the last part of the settings portion is going into accessibility. And this is just a really quick and simple trick that I recommend for long days when you will not be able to plug in or charge. First, you go to Visibility Enhancements, and then you go to Color Adjustment. Turn this on for a second and turn it to grayscale, then turn it off. And from there, we're going to want to go to Advanced Settings and Power and Volume key up. From here, you're going to turn this on and turn it to Color Adjustment. What this does is at any point when you do not have the ability to plug in for a while, but you don't want to reduce your speed or do anything of that nature, all you do is hit power and volume up and your phone goes grayscale. This is better because the more blacks again you have and the less color you're using, this is less brightness being used and also less vibrancy. So this is just really overall better for your display. It does take all the color out of it, but again, it's just a really great way to have to save quick battery life. It has improved my battery life, especially on days when I haven't been able to plug in, such as theme parks. All right, then we go to our two last settings. First is power mode. Hold this down and turn on adaptive power saving. Again, this uses so that it changes settings on your phone when you're not using it. This is really good and it definitely will save you in battery life in the long run. Second, some people like to do power saving mode all the time. I don't really need that and I just like the performance aspect better, so I go optimize. But if you ever want to, you can actually change things in this. So say you don't want it to do all this, but you just want it to have a little bit less brightness and a little bit screen resolution or whatever you want. You can kind of adjust it to fit what you want and maybe have it that way so you get a little bit extra battery life, but you keep it exactly how you want it. So play around with that and that's a great way to have it. The last portion is just to get rid of unwanted apps. Whether it's carriers or Samsung themselves or Google themselves, they put some apps on here that you might never want to use and just do not need. Well, for those apps that are built in, you can just hold them down and generally disable it. Now, some apps are like this where it will show like you can't disable. That means you generally have to go into app info and kind of go through their permissions and turn off things like changing the system. And then once you do that, it will allow you to disable it. So that's going to be a big thing that, again, when you disable apps that are on your phone, the reason why that's really good is because it doesn't use your battery, it doesn't use your cache, and it doesn't use your RAM. So that way it's just a lot better. All right, guys, so those are all the battery saving tips and how to speed up your phone that I have. Let me know in the comments section, will you be using these? And let me know afterward if you see an improvement on your battery life. Again, we will be doing our battery life test coming up this following week. And again, I hope to get over 8 hours, considering we got that on the Note 9. Should get it more on this one. Thank you guys always for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. This has been RSCKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, why don't you go ahead and subscribe up there. Make sure you follow us on social media right here. And of course, check out our latest video up there. And right down here, you're going to find the perfect video for you. Or at least that's what YouTube tells me. Thanks again.